Hello, Mutual Drug members. I am Christine Heath, your Director of Pharmacy Services. I am joined today by AJ Asgari. He is a multi-pharmacy owner and a PharmD himself. He is also the CEO of DrugStore2Door, and he's going to walk us through a simplified tool to help make these COVID immunizations a little more bearable. Over to you, AJ.
Thanks, Christine. Yeah, we've started with DrugStore2Door as a whole, and really as the COVID vaccination stuff started to kick in, we went in and built a scheduler that's specifically designed for independent pharmacy, and we're offering this out to all independent pharmacies currently at no charge, and we'll continue to do this for quite some time. So I think, Christine, what will be imperative for us is I'm going to run through and just show a real simple overview of how mutual pharmacies can go in and register for this particular tool, and then show them some of the features on the back end. And any questions you have along the way that you think will be helpful for your members, please feel free to interrupt me through the process, and I'll make sure I answer everything I can.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet. So I'm going to start right here. If your members will go to bookacovidvaccine.com, this is specifically designed for the COVID vaccination tool. And it does a few things that I'd like them to take note of. It's going to take the customer's location from this search bar here. And as soon as they go in, as long as they allow it to happen, whether it's on their cell phone or they're searching via the web, it will take their location, zoom them into the closest independent pharmacies in their area that are either providing the vaccine currently or anticipating getting the vaccine to vaccinate them in the future. And so they can go on and either book with somebody who already has vaccination and their schedule open. And if the schedule is not open, they're able to go in and actually join a waiting list so that when that pharmacy does receive vaccine, they can reach out to the customer. So this is also the place your pharmacies are going to go to register there. So at bookacovidvaccine.com, you're going to see a register your pharmacy link here at the top of the page. If the pharmacy will click on that link, it will take them over to a very simple registration form. And this is going to ask some basic information. The thing I ask is we tried to force some formatting here. Just what you put in here is what's going to appear on the map and represent your store. So please take the time to fill it out correctly. It caps sensitivity, so on and so forth. Just be sure you actually take the time to make everything produce itself accurately on the website, present in a professional way. But everything we need is right here in this form. If you want to add a particular screening tool, you can put that in the form here. You'll also see there's a place for your logo. So if you've got a nice logo you would like us to add to the map as well, you can put that in here. This is your only step. Once you do this, it goes to our back end. We typically process all the registrations each day. So you'll be up and running within 24 to 48 hours with your COVID vaccination tool. Once that's put in, I can kind of walk you through, and I'll do it in a slideshow fashion here as I click around. And let me pull this up, Christine. If you have questions through here, please interrupt me, but I'm going to go through kind of what it looks like, and I'll do it in a presentation mode here. If I can find, there we go. Can you see that okay on your side? Great. So that was the map we came from. When you click on a pin on that map, you're going to notice here that it's got all that info I was saying the pharmacy is going to fill out will be located here. So that's why you want that accurate. And you can see this particular one actually utilizes our e-commerce service as well. So they've got a shopping link here for consumers to go and shop products as well as utilize our vaccine services. You'll see the book a vaccine button at the bottom there. When a customer clicks on that, it's going to take them into your actual scheduling tool. This is where they'll go in. They can use this drop-down menu under services, select is it their COVID vaccination number 1 or COVID vaccine number 2. And then they can click on the next button. And then it will take them over to the open dates that the pharmacy has set on their calendar. So much like any other product you've used, if you've looked at something or you've used a different type of booking tool, this is very similar. What you've opened up, what timeframes you've opened up, customer can come in here and click on the date, select the time, and then proceed to the next step. This next step here is going to take some real basic information. This is going to lock in their appointment, and then they're going to move over to a HIPAA form. So on our free version, this is a standard HIPAA form. It's going to grab the most necessary information for you guys as far as vaccination goes, and this will hit your back end, which I'll show you. that's a HIPAA protected service, so that all of this information put in, you have on your own portal in the back end. With an upgraded version, if you want to go to an upgraded version, this becomes a customizable piece for you. And so you can create a much more robust HIPAA form if you choose to do so. So let's jump into the back end. So this is where the pharmacy is going to log in. So when you set up or you go through that registration step, you're going to pick a username and password. Once your site is up and ready to roll, you can come here. This is bookacovidvaccine.com/control pad. So it's your control pad on the back end is where you'll go to. And then you'll use your username and password to get into the back end. Once you do, this is the dashboard you're staring at. So it's a very basic setup. We tried to keep it as simple as possible. You'll notice in the top left corner here, I've included short video links on each piece. So you can log in, get set up, jump in here, and after you go through about 5 or 6 minutes of video, you'll know how to use 99% of the scheduling tool. If you need to train somebody else, you can just refer them to the particular link for what they're going to be doing. So it all lives in your back end, and you have unlimited access to that. You'll also notice a support button here. This may change to a different support, but there's always a support option where you can go in and submit a ticket and somebody will be there to help you. The next piece you'll see that I clicked on the vaccination scheduler here. This is where your calendar is going to populate. Just note that we've set this up in a way with two-way communication for Google Calendar. So you can go in and set your Google Calendar to this calendar if you want to have both in sync. So if you make changes on your Google Calendar, they will reflect on this calendar. So what I mean by that is, let's say Wednesday, you're going to block out Wednesdays on your Google Calendar. It will also block out Wednesdays here on your scheduler for you, and vice versa. The next step here, when you go in, you'll notice on the back end, you go into settings, and this is where you actually modify your calendar. So what I showed you on the customer side, where they saw your calendar and the dates and the times they could select, that was a pharmacy who has vaccine, has already set up the scheduler. If you don't have vaccine, you basically will leave all of your days on off. As you see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here show off. If you leave them all on off, no calendar will populate for the customer. They will just have a waiting list button. So they won't be able to go next. They will just go into a waiting list mode, click on the waiting list button, and then join your waiting list at your pharmacy for you to reach out to when it becomes available. As far as setting up your schedule, this is where you will do it. So you go into the back end, you set your times that you'll be doing vaccinations. If you want to add breaks in here, you can. So you can see on Wednesday, I put a break in here. If you've got certain days set that you want to modify permanently, this is the place to do it. Now, if you've got weeks where you've got more pharmacists on one day and less on the other day, you can do all that stuff through the calendar on the back end. So you can go block times out or open time slots up. By default on our free version, the time selections are 5, 10, and 15-minute intervals. If you want to utilize the upgraded version, you can increase the number of customers per time slot if you choose to do so, and you can increase or decrease those as well. So for a real standard setup, you could go in and set them for 5 minutes. And if you wanted 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or we've had stores that want 30 minutes, you can go set repeat meetings in your Google Calendar if you choose to do so, to block out all those times, and all that will show up is 30-minute time intervals. So there's easy ways to go make it do whatever you need it to do based on what's going on in your pharmacy. But all the setups right here, it's really, really simple. This, you'll notice, is the next option down, which are your HIPAA forms. This is where you're going to see the customers that have actually either joined your waiting list or they're on your vaccination schedule. And the cool thing about this is you've got all the information you need here. You can see this one's tagged waiting list, so you can put them in whatever category they're in. If they're there for vaccine or if they're there for waiting list, you can make those modifications here. If you want to export these forms, so let's say you want to print out your forms for the day, so you have them as the customers come in for shots, you can export them, print them, however you want to manage them for your unique process. And this is a searchable area as well, so you can come in and search for a particular patient to go pull their form. this is just a place for you to modify your profile on the map. If there's anything you need to change, typically it's not touched often at all. Really, the meat and potatoes are the last two tabs I showed you as far as setup goes. So, and that's really it. Are there any questions, Christine, that you have about how to utilize that scheduler, or maybe set up stuff on the back end I didn't go over?
No, I think that looks really great. One question I did have, so if it integrates to my Google Calendar, even if I have standing appointments within my Google Calendar, is it going to block off those in place of a vaccine appointment, or can I put them coinciding each other,
So the
basically?
way to think about your Google Calendar is it's going to do what you tell it. So if today at 2 o'clock, I have a function on my Google Calendar and it's marked as busy, and that calendar is linked to my vaccine calendar, it's going to block out that 2 o'clock time frame from my vaccine calendar. If I set the priority as non-busy, so if I'm okay with an overlap booking, then all you have to do in your Google Calendar is change it from the busy setting to the non-busy setting, and it will allow duplicate appointments to occur.
Perfect. They could also just load it in as its own separate COVID calendar if they didn't want it to truly integrate as well, right? And have that visibility.
Exactly. Yeah, what we recommend a lot is just go set up a COVID calendar. If you've got a vaccinating pharmacist or multiple pharmacists, just go make a Gmail account just for set up a secondary calendar just for this purpose. We have a lot of people who just strictly live in the back end of our platform and don't ever mess with their Google calendars. And then we have others who really like the integration.
Perfect. Now, if I don't have a website per se, I'm strictly phone and word of mouth, or maybe I have a Facebook site, how would I put my website with you guys on Drugstore to Door? How would I get that out? Can I label it? Can I personalize it? What does that look like to let my customers know to go here?
You bet. So once we set your scheduler up, it's going to be drugstore to, or not drugstore to door. That'd be if you had the e-commerce set up, but it'd be bookacovidvaccine.com/, and in most instances, it's your pharmacy name, but you'll get that URL. So you can take that URL, you can cut and paste it onto your Facebook page. You can use it in advertising. If you do or don't have a website, you can use it. So that way people can just click on your link and go direct to your submission form.
Perfect. So simple as leaving it on my voicemail. If you're interested in a COVID vaccine at my site, go to bookacovidvaccine.com/mutual drug, for example.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
I think that's great. This will be really helpful. I appreciate your time today, AJ.
You bet. We look forward to helping you guys out.